Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let me fix my thing real quick. Let me fix my layout. Let me fix this layout real quick before we get started. Let me know if y'all hear me on the microphone. Let me know if y'all can hear me on the microphone. We about to be live up in this joint. Let me fix the layout on this. Take the crop off of there. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? What is going on? I know I was supposed to do this at 2:30, but doctor's appointments would not let me do this at 2 o'clock or 2:30. But what's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is your boy Darion, and we are live with another live stream. It's finally the Spotlight Football Talk Live, and I'm here to talk football with y'all. A lot of topics that I need to go over while we do this live Q&A, ladies and gentlemen. But we've been getting some calls, ladies and gentlemen. We've been getting some calls. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody that is actually here. I really do appreciate y'all being here at this time, man. I'm happy that y'all here, man. Dominique Five was good. Was good. Ed Butts was good. Was good. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure y'all tune in to the live. Tune in to the live, ladies and gentlemen. Um, because we have some things to talk about. We have some news to talk about. We have a few things that we need to talk about um that came up today in the latest news. And the first thing that I really want to talk about is not really Raiders news as of right now. I'm gonna get to the Raiders news real quick, but I do because I am a football channel as well, so I like to get into the football aspect of all around the league because I want to start doing this every day, giving you league news and giving you Raiders news. And let me know what y'all want to hear first. Y'all want to hear the Raiders news or you want to hear the league news? Because there's a lot of NFL league news that came out now. But let me say this. Let me just say this real quick. And I want to put this out there because I've been doing YouTube for a while, and a lot of y'all have been with some of the OGs of the YouTube game. You know what I'm saying? And I have to say, like, I'm not just a Raiders content creator. I'm not. I like to cover all football on this channel. And people fail to realize, yes, Raiders is my fans. That's my favorite team. I'm still going to talk about them. But I love to talk about football in general when it comes to XFL, USFL, college football, NFL. You know what I'm saying? I like to talk about all. I like to be well rounded when it comes to that. Yes, my main priority on this channel is to talk Raiders, but I just don't want to talk everything that everybody else is talking when it comes to the Raiders. So I really hope y'all understand what I meant by that. I really hope y'all understand what I said by that. So I don't want to be considered just a Raiders content creator. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm gonna try to do this every day instead of just doing it on Wednesdays. Anthony Price, first topic. What's up with Trey Lance getting all this hype? Actually, that's not even the first topic. That's on the topics of today, but that's not even the first topic to be exact. Now, for me, the first topic is um Tua Tagovailoa. Now, Tua Tagovailoa came out and said he was kind of admitted that he was considering retirement when it comes to playing in the NFL. Now, this is what is being said when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa. It said it's difficult, and he did state that he was considering retiring at the football after the 2022 season with all the stuff that's going on. Let's bash the rest of the league first and then the Raiders news. Okay, we can bash the rest of the league first. Okay, we can do that. But the first thing is Tua Tagovailoa admits that he considers retirement after a difficult season. So he says, speaking with reporters on Wednesday, the Dolphins quarterback recalled a difficult period in which he weighed on both his health and his football future. He said, "Yeah, I think I was considering that at the for the time being." Tua Tagovailoa said, "Haven't sat down with my family, haven't sat down with my wife, and having those kind of conversations. But really, it will be hard for me to walk away from the game with how old I am with my son, and I always, like he said, he always dreamed of playing as long as he could, where his son knew exactly he was watching his dad do. It's my health, my body, and I feel like it's what's best for me and my family, and I love the game of football. If I didn't, I would have quit a long time ago. Now it says Tua Tagovailoa added the doctor specialist told him that there's no evidence of a greater risk of concussions or CTE in 2023 and beyond because of he has multiple concussions last season, which played a decision in him returning football. Now Tua Tagovailoa, we all know that twice he placed in the league the league concussion protocol during the 2022 NFL season. Once a stance coming after sustaining a frightening injury on national television on Thursday night against Cincinnati. I know we all remember that game where he put up the gang signs. Y'all remember that game, right? He missed 4 games in total, but seriously, his injuries left most everyone wondering what is Tagovailoa's future. He said they plenty of improved player safety in the last 15 years, with the quarterback at the top of the list priorities. The league competition and the committee has approved that regarding how the defenders can take down a quarterback's outlanding the act of diving the passer legs, knowing the Tom Brady season-ending injury and back in 2008. We all know how that went. Now we got the Tom Brady rule. And the NFL also continues to drive innovation of helmet technology, annually releasing the results of testing and headgear that also phases the older models. Still, those changes haven't been enough to keep Tagovailoa off the field for a full season. The quarterback decided to take matters into his own hands this offseason, training and doing jitsu to learn how to avoid head injuries when falling. So, basically, Tua needs to get some extra helmet padding. M85, I want to keep it 100. I like what you had going with Key, Dante, and them. And then just poof. I talked about it on the Darion Hopkins show, M85. I talked about it on the M80 show, and I'm not going to talk about it here. At the end of the day, there's no more Spotlight Sports Network. Is no more Spotlight Sports Network. My channel is the Darion Hopkins Show. They're over on Sports Empire. They're doing their thing. I'm not going to address them on here because it's just not something that I want to address when it comes to that. At the end of the day, everybody's doing their own thing. There's no longer Spotlight Sports Network. I still own the company. If I want to bring it back, I bring it back. But there's a lot of personal reasons behind the scenes on why we don't work together anymore. There's a lot of snakes behind the scenes on why we don't work together anymore. So I don't want to get into that. But when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa, I can say this. He did admit that he did want to retire. And I respect the decision that he did think about it. He kind of considered it. But when is enough when it comes to head blows? Yes, you have been sitting there and learning how to not take hits to the head, but this is a violent game. Football is a violent game. You feel what I'm saying? Football is something that's really violent that you're going to get hurt some way, somehow. I'm doing really well, man. I'm doing really well. And I just came back in from the doctor, so that's why I wanted to do this and get it out the way and talk some football with y'all. Talk some football with y'all. But but with Tua Tagovailoa is hopefully that he finds ways to not get them helmet hits. We don't want to see. We see a lot of concussions in football, and that's why a lot of kids want to. A lot of parents take their kids out of playing physical football and put them in flag football. But in this instance, this is his profession. This is his job. This is how he makes his money, and he's going to make the decisions that's best for him. And Tua just need extra padding. They need extra technology to prevent these helmets, or your head flapping back on turf. It could be the grassy turf too, because I come from having concussions. That's why my career ended early, because I had concussions. I had too many. I had more than Tua. So I didn't want to do things the way I didn't want to do things Tua doing his thing. See, I wasn't getting paid. I played semi-pro. So I wasn't getting paid. The NFL wasn't paying for my health. So you got to think of it in that instance. It wasn't paying for my health. So basically, yeah, Tua is making millions of dollars doing this. So he did admit that he did consider retirement, and I'm happy that he kind of considered it. I thought he would retire like Andrew Luck. He's not. Yeah, Andrew Luck got out the league a little bit too early for me, but I understand why. He was getting beat up. His offensive line wasn't the best at that time. So I get it. I get it 100%. I get it. I get it when it comes to Andrew Luck. But it's his decision at the end of the day, and that's what he decided to do. That's exactly what he decided to do. So I'm going to take that into consideration and hope the best for Tua. Hope the best for Tua, because Tua is one of those guys that he was talented coming out of Alabama. He didn't have concussion protocols when he was at Alabama. It really happened when it started in the NFL. Dave Bigelow or Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis left the game early because I think it was health reasons. A lot of players are retiring because of health reasons, and people don't want to risk getting CTE or risk getting head injuries or something like what happened to Damar Hamlin. God forbid. God forbid that, thank God that he's cleared and he's able to do the off-season workouts and stuff like that, and they monitor it to him day to day. I understand that, but you don't want a Damar Hamlin out there either. So you don't want that. So basically, that's what it is. So let's go into some other news here, and that is Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, ladies and gentlemen, he goes out and he says that he's one of the better receivers in this league. Now we all know Calvin Ridley was another Alabama product coming out of college, getting drafted to the Atlanta Falcons. He sat out a whole year due to gambling. I think he betted on some games in the NFL while he was an NFL player. He served his sentence. His served his 1 year suspension. He appealed it, and now he's back in the league. So Calvin Ridley hasn't played football in nearly a year and a half, but he's not backed away from some of the predictions for his second act with the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I think is going to be great, which I really think is going to be good for him, in my opinion. And it says that this is what he had to say. This is what Calvin Ridley had to say about this situation. He's saying that what I'm saying is that I am a 1,400-yard receiver with a broke foot, Ridley said on Wednesday in phase 1 of the team off-season programs. So I know he said, so I know I can make plays, and I know that I'm one of the better receivers in this league. Now, Calvin Ridley did speak with the Jaguars media, opening up about his past few years that had changed his career arc. First, I can say this, that really put up a monster year with Atlanta Falcons in 2020. He did. He had 1,374 yards in 9 TDs in 15 games with the Atlanta Falcons, while playing on a broken foot that he revealed at the Players Tribune, which I did not know that he had a broken foot that year. I had no clue. I had no clue. Then in 2021, after rushing back on the field following the foot surgery, Ridley stepped away from the Falcons while gambling a mental well-being. And following the offseason, Ridley was suspended indefinitely by the league for gambling on NFL games. But after being dealt with the Jaguars at the 2022 trade deadline in November, later being fully reinstated from the league, and Ridley path to change. He said that it's been amazing and really had a brief experience with the Jaguars so far, adding that when the trade went down, he immediately felt Jacksonville could be a home for him. So really has been in Jacksonville for about 5 weeks now. And Trevor Lawrence said on Wednesday that he got 3 or 4 throwing sessions with other Jaguars receivers to this point. Early returns of encouragement of his new QB said. He said it's been awesome, and Lawrence said it's been awesome. He's hungry and he's excited to be here. He got the right attitude, and I think the biggest thing that I've noticed for him on the field, I mean, he's just a freak of nature. He just went to running routes and how explosive, great hands, and seems to pick up stuff. So, really just use the whole suspension to be back to Calvin Ridley, basically. He wanted to be back to Calvin Ridley. What's going on, Ray Love? Raider Kush, what's good? Salute to the chat. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? But, Calvin Ridley is a talent. Yes, he only had one 1,000 receiving yards. I understand that. But he had 1,300 receiving with a broken foot. Just imagine if he didn't have a broken foot. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine if he didn't. But Calvin Ridley is I'm sorry, I don't know what just happened there. I don't know what just happened there, but Calvin Ridley he's an explosive player. And I think he could be one of those guys that could ball out. That really could ball out. So shout out to the chat and shout out to everybody that's in here for the NFL news. But I want to talk about this. And I talked about this yesterday on the Nothing But Raiders podcast yesterday. I surely did. I talked about it. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. But I talked about this yesterday. And what was stated was that, really, really interesting. Trey Lance is receiving calls he's receiving calls, from the 49ers. I'm really confused about this because they even had an article talk about the Raiders should trade for Trey Lance. And I talked about it and it makes zero sense. It made zero sense for the Las Vegas Raiders to go out there and trade for Trey Lance. We'll see if Ridley's a true number one. He can be. He definitely can be a true number one. Absolutely. He could definitely be a true number one. Don't get me wrong. He can. He absolutely can. But the 49ers have field calls regarding the number 3 overall pick, Trey Lance. Now, according to NFL Network, Ian Rappaport reported Wednesday that the Niners have received inquiries of several teams looking for a potential trade for Trey Lance per sources informed of the situation. Now, Ian Rappaport put out there that he had conversations that have resulted in San Francisco in field calls not making them. Now, the former 7th-round pick, Brock Purdy, is in line to start and had the starting gig while Kyle Shanahan's offense is not surprising. Clubs are checking on Lance availability, particularly if they get pennies on a dollar. Now, my question is this, and before we get into my question, San Francisco traded up the number 3 overall pick in 2021 to select Lance, giving up 3 first-round picks, number 1. Lance plays as a rookie, appearing in 6 games with 2 starts, and he ended the 2022 season suffering a season ankle injury, which I think he's still not ready for. That happened in week 2 of this past season. Now, Brock Purdy did emerge onto the scene where Lance's future in San Francisco is uncertain, but however, Purdy's elbow injury overshadows any potential trade for the former number 3 overall pick. Now, Ian Rappaport did note it that the Niners would want to make Brock Purdy rehab continue smoothly so no trade is implemented. Now, with Brock Purdy unable to throw until June, and Shanahan's indicating the last month that the QB may not be ready to start the season, it complicates the timing of any trade when it comes to Trey Lance. The Niners signed Sam Darnold in the offseason as an insurance, with Lance and Purdy dealing with injuries in 2023. Why people would trade for Trey Lance? What have Trey Lance done in this league yet? Absolutely nothing. And I understand that he had injuries and he backed up Jimmy Garoppolo when Jimmy Garoppolo was there. I can completely understand that. Completely understand that. But I still feel like this, and I'm going to still feel like this. The Raiders do not make the call. Please. Raiders don't make the call. Why would we go make a call on a quarterback that's definitely uncertain of his health? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for the Raiders to go out and get Trey Lance. It doesn't. But the question is, did the Raiders make the call? I don't know if they did or not. I don't know if they did. And I don't know if they will. And let me just put this out there right quick. But Trey Lance needs reps. That hasn't been on the field enough, but he has potential. Agreed. Getting Trey Lance wouldn't be cheap, and I don't want the Raiders to do it. I don't want the Raiders to go out and get Trey Lance. Why? For what? Go get Trey Lance for what? When we have a Jimmy Garoppolo, and I understand that we signed Jimmy Garoppolo for 3 years, but I'd rather go get someone in the draft before I go get Trey Lance. That's just me, because Trey Lance is coming off of a real bad ankle injury that has probably got metal plates in his ankle. He only played 1 season in college. There's no tape really on him. It's not, Anthony. It's not. It's not much tape on him. And I just don't feel like the Raiders should make the calls. But I want to know what teams are looking at him. What teams are looking at him right now? What teams put some teams in the chat that needs Trey Lance right now? If Trey Lance is 100%, let me know right now. I would love to know that. I would love to know that. What's up? What's going on, Sebastian? What's up, brother? What's up? What's up? So the Minnesota Vikings, they could use him as a backup, knowing that Kirk Cousins might be on his way out. So that's a suggestion. But let's name some more teams, y'all. Let's name some more teams. Because don't say the Raiders. Do not say these boys here. Do not say these boys here. Don't do it. Trey Lance equals Carson Wentz West. The Colts, Sebastian. Now the Colts, I think they're going to go get Anthony Richardson. They're going to stay where they're at and get Anthony Richardson. I don't see them going to get Trey Lance. I don't see the Colts going to get Trey Lance. The Titans, I don't think they're going to go get Trey Lance. Even they have a guy in Malik Willis that's going to be good. That's going to be the future. And we're going to talk about who's going to be losing their starting job going into this season. Not the Raiders. Absolutely. The Raiders don't need a Trey Lance. We don't need it. We don't need it at all. It doesn't make sense for the Raiders to go out and get a Trey Lance. It doesn't make sense. The XFL needs Trey Lance. Ray Love, I listen to Ray Love. You crazy, bro. You crazy. I don't know about that one, bro. I don't know about that. With the XFL, well, the Las Vegas Vipers. Give Trey Lance a call, Las Vegas Vipers. Give him a call. Give him a call. That's what I'm gonna say. Give him a call. What I've seen of Willis was lost on the field. Because look who was the offensive coordinator over there last year. Ty Downing was the offensive coordinator. No quarterback succeeds under Todd Downing. Let's keep it a buck. We've seen it with him when he was the Raiders offensive coordinator, where Jack Del Rio fired Bill Musgrave. That was the best ever offensive coordinator Carr had. Let's keep it real. The best ever offensive coordinator Carr had in his tenure here, in my opinion. And we got rid of him for Todd Downing. And Todd Downing made nobody better. He made no quarterback better. He made no offense better. No matter where he went, it was an offensive coordinator. When Arthur Smith left the Tennessee Titans for the Atlanta Falcons job, that's when you see that offense went downhill for Tennessee. Absolutely. Absolutely. So getting calls for Trey Lance, I don't understand the hype. Yes, he's a number 3 overall pick. Yes, he only played 1 year in college. Yes, he barely played in the NFL. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I try to stay with the best hats. I try to stay with the best hats, Ray Love. You know that, brother. You know that. So getting calls for Trey Lance, I mean, the Vikings could definitely take a look at him. Tennessee, well, I would say Tennessee would like to take a look at him, but I think they need to focus on making Malik Willis the future. So I'm not a big fan of him going to Tennessee. So because not really a lot of quarterbacks, there's not really a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. The Texans, yeah, but I think they might, from what I'm hearing, they might not even draft a quarterback. From what I'm hearing when it comes to the Texans. So Trey Lance might be it for the Houston Texans. Because from what I'm hearing, they want to make him They want to draft the defensive player. From what I'm hearing, is the rumors. We should have fired Ken Norton instead of Musgrave. Thank you. Oh my God, that's what we should have did. We should have did that. We should have did that. Should have fired Ken Norton instead of Bill Musgrave. Absolutely. Agreed. 100%. Agreed. There's no way. There's no way. So let's get into a little interesting stories here. Let's get into a little interesting. The NFL draft is next Thursday, y'all. You think Ryan is trolling and will draft Anderson or Young? It's a possibility. It's a possibility. But you just never know what DeMeco Ryan's going to do. You just never know. DeMeco Ryan loves Will Anderson. He's really highly favored on Will Anderson. He's highly favored on him. Highly favored. So, yeah, I think so. I think so. I think he can I think he will draft Will Anderson over Bryce Young. But I would not be surprised though. I will not be surprised. But let's have some fun, y'all. Let's have fun. With the 2023 NFL draft just days away from kicking off in Kansas City, Missouri, we have some final top 5 prospects by each position. Now, I'm going to do this every day while doing this show. The top 5 prospects by each position. So now, the 2 positions that I am going to do for the top 5 prospects by position, I'm going to do quarterback and I'm going to do running back. And this is my personal opinion of the top 5 quarterbacks. And this is my personal opinion of the top 5 running backs that's in this draft. Right before. We're going to do it every day up to the draft to talk about the top 5 prospects of each position. And the first 2 prospects I'm going to do is quarterback and running back. And I'm going to give y'all an explanation afterwards. So my top 5 prospects by position when it comes to the quarterback position. I'm going to start from 5 and go to 1. Unfortunately, I really don't like this quarterback at number 5. I really don't, but there's not too many quarterbacks that's in this draft at this time that I could put in my top 5. Number 5 is Will Levis. Number 5 is Will Levis. I don't like the kid. I think he's not that great of a quarterback. But there's not that many quarterbacks in this draft. Not that many quarterbacks in this draft after him that's really better than him, unfortunately. It's sad. I mean, you got some Tanner McKee from Stanford. You got a few other quarterbacks that's in here, but Will Levis is at number 5. Number 4, I got Anthony Richardson at number 4. I'm sorry to say, I got Anthony Richardson at number 4. He's still a raw talent. A lot of development that really needs to happen for Anthony Richardson. Really have, and don't get me wrong, he had a short stint at Florida. So Anthony Richardson, I got at number 4. Salute Alex Martin. Salute to you, brother. Salute. Number 3, my guy from Tennessee. I have a Hendon Hooker over Anthony Richardson. Hendon Hooker, if you look at before he got hurt, and I don't want to talk about the ACL injury because I think he's ahead of time, and I think people is going to sleep on Hendon Hooker when he gets drafted. The guy was leading the country in passing. He had the number 1 offense at Tennessee in the nation. He had the team. Nobody on his list beat Alabama. Nobody on his list beat Alabama but Hendon Hooker. Well, Bryce Young, of course, I'm going to get to him as well. But Hendon Hooker was having a career year at Tennessee until he tore his ACL. And I think he's better than Anthony Richardson. I think the hype for Anthony Richardson is really overly hyped, in my opinion. And I don't want the Raiders to go out and get AR-15. I just don't. I don't want the Raiders to go out and get AR-15. Number 2, I got Bryce Young. I got Bryce Young at number 2. Bryce Young is a talented player. He is. He's a talented player. He's a talented quarterback. Very smart. But at the same time, let's keep it real. A lot of Alabama quarterbacks don't really succeed in this league. A lot of Alabama quarterbacks don't. Yes, you have a Tua, you have a Jalen Hurts that came from Alabama, but it's not too many. No, there's not many Alabama quarterbacks that succeeded recently outside of Tua and Jalen Hurts. And what's the other guy's name? I think it's another guy I'm thinking about. I can't think of his name at this moment. But Bryce Young might be that third quarterback. He might be that third quarterback that could be good that's coming out of Alabama. Because we know in the past, Alabama quarterbacks don't succeed in the NFL. They just don't. They just don't. And number one, I think we all know where it's going here. It was Mac Jones. My bad. I couldn't get his name. So it was Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, and Tua Tagovailoa. They the only three Alabama quarterbacks in the last 10 years you could tell me that's been succeeding. In the last 10 years, those three quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, and Mac Jones. They're the three Alabama quarterbacks that actually succeeded in the NFL. But number one is CJ Stroud for me. Number one is CJ Stroud because I feel like CJ Stroud is the most pro-ready quarterback out of these five. The most pro-ready. They run a pro-style offense in Ohio State. He's big. He's tall. I understand I'm talking about in the last 10 years. I'm not talking going all the way back to Stabler and those guys and Joe Montana. I'm saying in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, from 2013 to 2023, it's only been Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jalen Hurts. In the last 10 years. I'm just saying. But CJ Stroud is pretty good. Didn't Hurts transfer to Oklahoma? Yes, but he's still an Alabama quarterback. He still went to the national championship with Alabama, succeeded there. Without the transfer, he was still good at Alabama, but lost his job to Tua. I get it. So I got CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis as my top five quarterbacks. So while the quarterback crop has upgraded in the 2022 group, it still lacks a lot of things when it comes to certain classes from the recent vintage. In my opinion, they said that there's some quality signal callers with the potential to evolve into a long-term QB1 in the right environment. And of course, Bryce Young boasts of many traits of the NFL decision-making and one end as a franchise quarterback. Now, showcasing the exceptional production and performance from Bryce Young, he's 5'10". He's 204 pounds. He lacks size and frame, but old school team builds to convey. They do. Durability concerns still in for Bryce Young is considered a unanimous QB1 on most draft boards. Now, for me, CJ Stroud is the most prototypical prospect out of the bunch and a talented passer and a playmaker with physical traits in the tools. Now, although Ohio State standouts did not lean into his athleticism in most of the collegiate career, he is spectacular. He definitely has spectacular performance against Georgia in the college football playoff and could encourage coaches to explode in his potential of a dual threat and at the next level for CJ Stroud. Now, for Hendon Hooker, like I said before, he's covering from an ACL tear. He is. In November, at the advantage age, he's 25 years old, is a topic of conversation in the pre-draft process. But I have to say this, he's one of the most polished quarterbacks that you will find when it comes to throwing with anticipation, timing, and touch from the pocket. The athletic Tennessee product definitely throws at pinpoint darts. He does. And he's intended to target, at a very good range. He manages offense and he plays the game like a seasoned pro for Hendon Hooker. Now, Anthony Richardson is a freak athlete. He reminds me of Cam Newton. He does. Like tools of a dual threat and a playmaker. Although his accuracy woes and limited experience, only 13 starts at Florida. Only 13 starts at Florida. Makes him a redshirt candidate as a rookie. Richardson could make his mark as a dynamic, talented passer and a playmaker with A+ physical tools who didn't always put his best work on tape in 2022. And of course, the Kentucky product will leave us as a product of he flashed intriguing potential at the QB1 position, especially during his 2021 campaign. But he has spotty play makes him is something of a boom or bust prospect. So that's my top 5 when it comes to quarterbacks, top 5 prospects. That's who I have. Now let's go into the top 5 prospects of running backs coming out of the draft. This is an interesting one. Now, I love me some running backs. I really do. I love me some running backs. Don't get me wrong. I love me some running backs. And the running backs are really, really interesting to watch. They're really interesting to watch. So, going into my running backs, number 5, I have Tajay Spears, running back from Tulane. That's my number 5 prospect coming into here. Devon Akane, if I said that correctly, I don't know if I pronounced your name, but you're from Texas A&M. Great prospect. We're going to break it down. We're going to break it down. Number 3, Zach Charbonnet, UCLA. Another UCLA running back. They had Britton Brown last year that the Raiders did draft. Very interesting to watch. Very interesting to watch. Jahmyr Gibbs at number 2. Somebody told me to do, I don't know where he's at, but he told me to go look at Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama. Just let me take a look at him. And of course, my number 1 running back in this draft at the top of the boards is Bijan Robinson from Texas. They are my top 5. They're my top 5 prospects. But let's break it down on why I have them here. Now, the running back class is loaded with potential starters. They are. And many of them who could come off the board in middle rounds, and given the de-evaluation of the position in the draft, and when it comes to the draft hierarchy, as an undisputed running back 1 of the class, Bijan Robinson is a 5-star player, top 10 talent, and potential to have that. Now, the Texas standout is an old school runner with vision, balance, body control, and power running through and around defenders, and he flashes ability to score anywhere on the field. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs is a jitterbug with dangerous top start quickness and burst. He's a Georgia Tech / Alabama product with a big play machine with a diverse skills to immediately excel and as change of pace in third down back in the NFL. Now, I have to say for Zach Charbonnet, I can say this. He's a big back with a throwback game. He's a punished runner with a vision, balance, and body control to weed through traffic as a classic running back 1. Now, Darion Akane from Texas A&M. I have to say this about him. He's a lightweight playmaker with explosive quickness, acceleration, and long speed. Although he lacks size to handle the heavy workload in the NFL, the Texas A&M product could make a profound impact with third down back in a spread offense. Now, the last thing I can say is Tajay Spears. He's an electric backfield playmaker with very offense could use. A lot of offenses could use his style of play. The Tulane star displays stellar top start quickness as well as ballerina-like balance and body control with the ball in his hands. So that is my top 5 quarterbacks, and that is my top 5 running backs of my prospects. That is my prospects when it comes to the NFL draft. And we're going to keep doing this until the draft starts. And I will be doing the draft. So make sure y'all tune in, man. Make sure y'all tune in. So let's get into some Raiders news, man. We've been talking a little bit of Raiders news here and there, blah, blah, blah. But let's get into some real Raiders news, ladies and gentlemen. And it's been talked about a lot, about a few things that happen here when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders. There's been some news. And my first news that I have of the day, when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders is this. What to do with Josh Jacobs? And is it CJ Stroud? What to do with Josh Jacobs? And is it CJ Stroud or bust? Now, this is according to Brad Weiss of Just Blog Baby. He wrote this article stating that last offseason, the Las Vegas Raiders franchise added Dave Ziegler as a general manager and Josh McDaniels as a head coach coming off the playoff season before many expected the Raiders to take another step forward, especially after trading all-pro wide receiver Devontae Adams. However, one calendar year later, the roster had been completely blown up, and Ziegler and Daniels put a stamp on the organization. However, some stars remain, including running back Josh Jacobs, but for how long will that be the case? Now, during the 2022 offseason, Ziegler and his staff declined the fifth option for Josh Jacobs, then proceeded him to play in the Hall of Fame game. That must have been a chip on his shoulder as the running back went into being the lead in the league in rushing in all-purpose yards and establishing himself as one of the best young backs in the game. Now that Ziegler and McDaniels have even bigger decisions to make regarding the 25-year-old feature running back, that they have placed a franchise tag on him in hopes of getting a long-term deal done. Now, Josh Jacobs is still young and enough to strike a new deal, but has been the subject of trade rumors and did not attend team's voluntary workouts this week. Now, the next thing is the Raiders only in on CJ Stroud. That is a big question. Are they only in on CJ Stroud? And the question is this. I don't think they could be in on CJ Stroud. I don't think they could be CJ Stroud. And that's just my personal opinion. And I'm going to say why. Because CJ Stroud is going to be gone by the time we get to number 7. He's going to be gone. He's going to be gone by the time he gets to number 7. The only way we go get CJ Stroud is we go and trade for him. That's it. We got to go trade for him in some way, somehow. So it's saying that recently talented Paul Casabane from Bleacher Report put out a piece stating that the are only in on CJ Stroud in terms of this year's quarterback class. Stroud is a standout signal caller from Ohio State that's likely going to be the first player off the board this April. So moving up from number 7 will have to happen in order for Las Vegas to get him, which I've stated. In the latest 4th round mock draft, we had the Las Vegas Raiders waiting until pick number 100 to get a quarterback and bringing in Tanner McKee from Stanford. You have to think that if they have a franchise misses out on Stroud or possibly even Bryce Young or either Anthony Richardson, they will wait until day 1 to bring in a possible franchise quarterback and back up Jimmy Garoppolo in 2023. So it's a lot of news going on here with Josh Jacobs. It's a lot of news going on here. And I talked about it yesterday on the Nothing But Raiders podcast. Stroud's going to fall to number 2. He's going to fall to number 7. My bold prediction. Ray Love, that's a great prediction, bro. That is a great prediction. But is it Stroud or bust for the Raiders? If we don't get Stroud, do we still think whoever we get will be a bust? I mean, the last person that we picked at number 7 was Darius Hayward-Bay. That was the last person that we actually picked at number 7. So I feel like the Raiders got to get this draft right. They got to get this draft right. They have to. They got to get it right. If they don't get it right, then we're looking at another failed season. We're looking at another failed season for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm sorry to say, it's the truth. No, it's not Stroud or bust. Okay, Ray Love, I appreciate that. I appreciate that 100%. I do. I do. But Josh Jacobs got to get paid before the season starts, man. He got to get paid, or he plays on a franchise tag till they give him a deal. I don't know what it is, but I said it on Nothing But Raiders podcast yesterday. I said it, and I said that I don't think it's the money part that they worried about. I think it's the length of the contract, the year length of the extension of what the Raiders want to do in that aspect. In my opinion. So when it comes down to Josh Jacobs and he wants to get a big contract, do the Raiders want to pay him $16-17 million a year? But for how long? How long do they want to pay him for? That's the big issue. That's the big issue with Josh Jacobs. And hopefully Josh Jacobs could come and the Raiders could come to an agreement and find their way. Find a way to get a deal done. They got to get a deal done. The guy's the leading rusher in the league. And Saquon Barkley was right up there with Josh Jacobs. So they got to get a deal done for Josh Jacobs, man. Josh Jacobs, please. I don't know how long you want this extension to me. I don't know how much money you want, but I'm begging you and the Las Vegas Raiders committee or organization to get it done. Get it done. Get it done. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Had to close that door real quick. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. I had to make a quick run. Had to stop that real quick. Had to close the door. But hopefully we can get this done, man. Hopefully, things can be done. Hopefully things can be done for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the next topic that I have when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the top 3 Las Vegas Raiders who may not be sticking around in 2023. I wanted to do this topic because I would not be surprised if these guys are gone when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders. I will not be about these 3 if they're not here. I would not be surprised. Will not be surprised at all. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders still have plenty decisions to make in terms of their 2023 roster, and there's 3 players that may not be with them next season. So this is from Just Blog Baby, and shout out to justblogbaby.com. Brad Weiss wrote this article as well. And he says that in the 2023 Las Vegas Raiders will look a lot different in this team only winning 6 games this season. And the general manager, Dave Ziegler, has started the process of revamping the roster, going from former faces of the franchise like Derek Carr and Darren Waller, as Ziegler and the head coach, Josh McDaniels, look to put their own stamp on the organization. Now, this offseason, we have already seen moves by Ziegler in the company, and maybe more should be coming before the team workouts begin. Now, we are less than 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, which we're less than a week away from the NFL draft. The Las Vegas Raiders hold a significant draft capital, so expecting big changes with the roster, especially after the selections that have been made. Last year, this team underachieved in a big way, which they did, as the group is coming off a playoff appearance and nearly beating the Cincinnati Bengals in a wild card round on the road. 1 calendar year later, the roster has once again been turned upside down in hopes for a new group of draft picks that can help the franchise back into being a perennial playoff contenders. So the first player that they have that will not be sticking around going in 2023. This is a shocker, and I'm shocked about this. The first one is Malcolm Koonce. So Malcolm Koonce is one of the ones that may not stick around by 2023. Very interesting story here. Now he says that the relationship between Malcolm Kuz and Josh McDaniel got off rocky last summer as the head coach was yelling at the edge rusher for knocking Derek Carr out, trying to knock over Derek Carr in practice. From there, the second year player struggled once again to find his footing at the NFL level, and he goes into the 2023 season on a roster bubble. Wow. Kuntz was a third-round pick by the Raiders in 2021, the last draft of Mike Mayock and John Gruden regime. The two all-time All-MAC selection, Malcolm Kuntz has played sparingly with the Silver and Black since his selection out of University of Buffalo, appearing in only 22 games while notching 2 sacks and 12 tackles. The Raiders tried bolstering the defensive end position last offseason, adding Chandler Jones into the mix, but they have brought in Jordan Willis this offseason. Max Crosby is an absolute star, and Jones came on strong towards the end of last season. But this position group that needs depth, and Kuntz may not be the answer. I disagree with this. I disagree with this 100%. I think Malcolm Kuntz is a potential. I think Malcolm Kuntz could be a star in this league if he gets the chance. He don't get a chance with Josh McDaniels in his team. He doesn't. He doesn't get a chance, and I don't like it at all. I don't like the fact that Malcolm Kuntz is on a roster bubble. Y'all paying Chandler Jones $20 million to play barely a half a season and didn't put up no numbers. Y'all didn't give Malcolm Kuntz a chance. Y'all didn't. So when y'all talk about Malcolm Kuntz might not be sticking around in 2023, that's bullshit. Malcolm Kuntz needs to be a Raider. He's talented like that. He's good like that. It's not fair that he might be on a roster bubble because Josh McDaniels and Patrick Graham don't want to put him on the field. I don't get it. I don't get it. So the next thing is the next person. The next person is this. So the next thing is the next person is this. Kuntz might not fit Patrick Graham's system. I don't know. I mean, I need to see it that he doesn't fit. We got to see him on the field to see if he doesn't fit the system. The only way you get better is you play reps. That's the only way you get better. If you can't say that he fits a system and he doesn't even get on the field to see that. He's not even getting on the field. That's what makes me mad about it. Like, we need to see it for ourselves if he doesn't fit the system. But you just don't keep him on the bench and he doesn't get any reps and you don't give this man a chance. Malcolm Kuntz didn't have a chance at all. That's my issue with it. You didn't give him a chance under Patrick Graham's. So I just think Malcolm Kuntz, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. So the next person that the Las Vegas Raiders that may not be sticking around in 2023 is running back Brandon Bolden. So the Las Vegas Raiders running back room is a spotlight of this offseason as the team placed a franchise tag on Josh Jacobs and hope of signing him to a long-term deal. Now, Jacobs led the NFL in both rush and all-purpose yards last season at the only age of 25 years old, and he should have a ton of good football left in him. Now, behind Jacobs last season, there were a few veterans in Amir Abdullah and Brandon Bolden, as well as rookies Zamir White and Britton Brown. But Britton Brown really didn't play that much. But Abdullah ended up playing a big role in the offense in the terms of the passing game. But Bolden was a bit of an afterthought while he played in 16 games and only mustered 17 carries and 9 receptions. With Amir Abdullah serving a bigger role with the hope that White takes a step forward in year 2, Brandon Bolden could be the odd man out for the running back room. The Las Vegas Raiders drafted Britton Brown during the last draft cycle. It could end up drafting another running back this April, leaving a 33-year-old Bolden on the outside looking in. Now, Brandon Bolden, he's out of here. He's gone. Now that y'all say that he fits the Josh McDaniels system. Now, this is a guy I felt like last year didn't fit the Josh McDaniels system. He didn't fit it. I'm sorry to say he didn't fit it, in my opinion. He just didn't. So when it comes down to Brandon Bolden, Britton Brown might take his spot. Zamir White is going to take his spot. And Amir Abdullah is going to take his spot. So he's definitely the odd man out. J. Rose said, Spot, I want AR-15. We need a quarterback that has the talent potential than Mahomes. I disagree. I don't think AR-15 has Patrick Mahomes' talent. I have AR-15 as the number four out of my top 5 prospects. I think Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Hinton Hooker are 3 better quarterbacks than AR-15. Just my opinion. J-Ro. But yeah, Brandon Bolden is a bum. He's a bum. So I don't see him sticking around. I see him getting released after the draft. I can see him getting released after the draft. Brandon Bolden is out of here. He's definitely gone. He's out of here. Definitely out of here. AR-15 is not in the Mahomes league. He's not. And AR-15 don't have no accuracy. He just doesn't. Why you call him AR-16, Ray Love? Why you call him that, bro? Why you call him that? But yeah, when it comes to the Brandon Bolden, yeah, he's the odd man out. He's definitely the odd man out. And the next person and the last person that may not stick around, and I'm kind of like on the fence with this one, y'all. And that is Amik Robertson. So the Raiders once again have issues at the defensive backfield heading into the 2023 NFL Draft, a problem that does not seem to want to go away. The silver and black brought back Brandon Facyson this offseason and added some veterans like David Long, Duke Shelley, but depth and talent is still needed. Last season, Amik Robertson had his moments for the Raiders, but entering the final season of his current deal, it could end up being cut before the season starts. There is a good chance that the Raiders could use an early selection this April on cornerback position, with the veterans arriving as well as Nate Hobbs, proving that he belongs, and Robinson may not have a spot in the secondary. Now, it says that the Las Vegas Raiders have some big decisions to make in a defensive backfield, as the issues at the safety position as well. Robinson has made it ample time to stake the claim on being one of the long-term solutions for this defense. But after one season with the new regime, he's another man who could be shown the door. What are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about this? About Amik Robertson? Amik Robertson possibly not being with the Raiders. What are your thoughts on this? Because me personally, I feel like Amik Robertson played better this year. Amik Robertson, he's short, he's small. I understand that he can play a little bit of the slot, but I think Amik Robertson shouldn't be shown the door. I think he developed a little bit better under Patrick Graham than he did when he was with Gus Bradley. Only person out of these 3 I can see getting the door is Brandon Bolden. I can't see them getting rid of Malcolm Koonce. I can't see them getting rid of Brandon Bolden. But at the end of the day, this is a business. And Josh McDaniels is going to pick out who he wants to pick out, basically. I think Amik needs to go. He was just in the right place at the right time. I think he played better for me. I think he played better. Don't get me wrong. I think he played better. But I can completely understand. I can completely understand why people want him gone. Because I know he's a liability in coverage with his age. He's a liability in coverage with his age. So I could completely understand why you want him to be gone. I could completely understand it. So Amik Robinson, Brandon Bolden, and Malcolm Coons are the three players that possibly may not stick around. May not stick around for the 2023 NFL season. Amik gives up 70 yards a drive by himself. That's true. Amik Robinson is young. Amik Robinson is definitely young. He's definitely young. So I got one more topic for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. One more topic, and then I'll get out your hair because I got to go live on my other channel tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got to go live over there for the Los Angeles Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies game 2 on the Darion Hopkins show. So make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to the Darion Hopkins show. I will be over there live at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm gonna give y'all the last topic of the day, and then I'm gonna be out y'all here, man. And I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna come back and do this tomorrow as well. So Kuiper and Todd McShay did a 3-round mock draft for the Las Vegas Raiders. So this is from Levi Damien. Levi Damien put this on RaidersWire.com. That's where he put it at. He put it on RaidersWire.com. And ESPN Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay got together to play GM for each 32 teams over the first 3 rounds. And here's who they had the Raiders taking and why. So Mel Kiper's pick at number 7 on the overall pick, Mel Kiper's pick was Devon Witherspoon, cornerback from Illinois. He said that he thought hard about the Kentucky quarterback Will Levis, but the reality is the Raiders believe that they have a roster to compete in the AFC West with this season. And that's why they signed Jimmy Garoppolo. If they want a defender to help in 2023, it's Witherspoon that could immediately become a top guy. Now, note, Kiper made this pick with Christian Gonzalez on the board, and McShay had Falcons take Gonzalez with the next pick. Now, in round 2, for the number 38 pick, Todd McShay picks Steve Avila, center and guard from TCU. He said Mel took care of the cornerback, and Mel Kiper took care of the cornerback in need of the first round. So I'm moving on to the offensive line. In the second round, the Raiders invested in Jimmy Garoppolo and a franchise tag running back and Josh Jacobs. So why not go out and give them both help at the interior line? Avila could end up being a really good run blocker in the pros. Now, this is a note. The Raiders addressed a huge need right there where they needed to be addressed. Avila is just the 3rd interior offensive lineman taken off the draft. And Mel Kiper swiped Tennessee's hidden hooker with the pick just before this to the Seahawks. So no QB for the Raiders either of the first 2 picks. In round 3, Todd McShay takes Tucker Kraft, tight end from South Dakota State. Now, the Raiders traded away Darren Waller and the new quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, ranked second in the NFL in yards per attempt on passes to a tight end last season, which was 9.5. Kraft would be a red zone favorite for Garoppolo in Las Vegas. And to note this, that another big needed position for the Raiders after trading Darren Waller and the exit of Foster Moreau. Kraft is the seventh tight end taken in this mock draft. And that was at the number 70 overall pick. In the number 100 overall pick, Todd McShay picks Travis Robinson, outside linebacker from Ole Miss. Now, Chandler Jones is 33 years old, and he didn't live up to the expectations in his first season in Las Vegas. So going to get a more explosive pass rushers with versatility wouldn't be a bad call for the Raiders. Now, note that the Raiders could possibly get by with Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, but the depth is needed at this point in the draft. You're going to be looking more at the best player available than Pacific needs anyway. So Todd McShay and Mel Kiper did a 3-round mock draft. And at number 7, they picked Devon Witherspoon, cornerback from Illinois. That was Mel Kiper's pick. Second round, number 38 pick, Todd McShay picked. Oh my God. Todd McShay picked Steve Avila, center/guard from TCU. The third round pick at number 70, Todd McShay picks Tucker Kraft, tight end from South Dakota. In the in the third round pick at number 100, Todd McShay picks Travius Robinson, outside linebacker from Ole Miss. So that is the 3-round mock draft that I kind of agree on, but I don't. I don't agree on everything that they have. Now, I don't know too much about Steve Avila, the center and guard from TCU, but he said that he's one of the top 3 offensive linemen when it comes to this draft. And I don't know too much about Travius Robinson, outside linebacker from Ole Miss, but if he's explosive, why not go out and get him? You know what I'm saying? If he's explosive, why not go out and get him? That would be the smart move to do. Is to go out and get a guy that we need. It's a need at this point. So, and Chandler Jones is 33 years old. I don't know how long he's going to stay up. I just don't know how long he's going to stay up when it comes to it. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. I went through all my topics for today on Spotlight Football Talk Live. Latest news around the NFL and NFL news, the NFL and Las Vegas Raiders news of today. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to a great live stream. I know there wasn't a lot of people in here. It's probably other people live on their channels, and it's absolutely fine because I'm going to get back to being consistent on here. I'm going to be back. I'm going to get my numbers back up. It's okay. I really don't care about the numbers. I really care about the quality over quantity at this point. But let me know what y'all think, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what y'all think. Shout out to everybody that came into the chat. Shout out to everybody that came through. I will be live for the draft. I will be live all the way up going into the draft. So make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, man. It's the Spotlight Football Talk. I see y'all on the next live stream, or I see you on the next video. But I'll definitely see y'all tomorrow. It will be at 2 o'clock this time, not 4 o'clock. It'll be 2 o'clock this time. So thank y'all for tuning in. Have a blessed night and have a great afternoon. And I will see y'all at 7:30 on my other channel, which will be the Darion Hopkins Show for Lakers in Memphis. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.